Good morning, everybody, live from Australia. Welcome to everybody who's joining us for the first time. There's a few new names that I'm seeing. I'd love to hear where you're from. For those that don't know, I'm in the Hunter Valley, which is a couple of hours north of Sydney. And right now it's spring here in Australia, so things are starting to warm up. I guess for most of you, it's starting to cool down. Hey, Mark, thanks, mate. Okay, so where the room is filling up, which is great. So I appreciate that. Tell me where you're from, say hi. And yeah, we'll start in a moment. I'm just going to switch screens over to the main presentation. Okay, that's great. That's fitting. Okay, we're live on Facebook. Okay, let's have a look. Texas, Salt Lake City, Queens and New York, Washington, D.C., Atlanta. Still hot? Yeah. Atlanta never really cools down, does it, Susan? North Carolina, West Hampton Beach in New York. Whereabouts is that, Jake? I'm not sure where that is in New York. Palm Bay in Florida. Hey, Caesar, how you going, mate? Boston. Okay. Boston, I'm assuming you mean Boston, Massachusetts, Caesar, is that correct? Orange County, South Shore. Okay. Thanks, Jake. I didn't know that. Something to learn every day. Okay, thanks, Caesar. Great. Okay, so we're filling up, which is fantastic. Hey, Zan. Yeah, San Francisco Bay, a beautiful part of California. I've never been there, but I've most of my time in California has been in LA. Okay, so today is in many ways really simple, but I think it's one of the hardest things for us to get our heads around. So this is a slightly different take on something I've done before, but I think it bears repeating, and it's certainly the conversation that I have with most people. Okay, so what it actually takes to sell your art and your photography online. Hey, Nancy, nice of you to join us. Thank you. Miami. Most expensive drink I've ever had in my whole life, I had on the beach in Miami. Anyhow, let's jump into the presentation. So today, now I think that this first point is probably almost the most important thing for you today, is there is no silver bullet. And we're going to walk through what I mean by that. But a lot of the time, artists and photographers, we're all looking for that one thing that's going to make everything better, right? And we're going to talk about that. The daily and weekly effort, there's no single one thing that you do that's going to make a difference, except for being consistent and being there every single day, every single week, and doing the work. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in more detail. The key tasks you must focus on to succeed. Now, to me, this is critical, and this is where we get stuck. And I often hear the excuse, I don't have time to do that, or I've got too busy, or I've got these other things going on. Honestly, if you're not doing these two tasks, the rest of it doesn't matter. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. How long it really takes to get traction, to actually start earning some real money. And we're going to talk about that. And finally, how you start when you have no audience at all or a really small one. When you're starting from scratch, it's mind-bogglingly difficult. Okay, but there are ways to get around that, and I'm going to talk about that today. Okie dokie. So let's jump into it. Now, the no silver bullet. Now, I don't know how many times I've had this conversation, but people say, what's the secret? What's this? What's this? How do I make this happen? How do I start earning money today? The best way to start earning money today is to have started a year ago. All of the effort that you put in today is going to pay your bills in 6 to 12 months. There's no quick way around that. If you need to make money today and you have to pay the bills today, then online is not going to pay your bills today. And I'm not saying online is not going to pay your bills in the future. There's no question about that. But if you really need to earn money today to pay the bills, then you need to look at other things in the meantime. Now, that's not a bad thing. And, you know, one of the things that I've learned, I've been a professional photographer now for 8 years, running my business online for that time. But the thing I've learned in that time is that I need to diversify my income streams. I need to have money coming in from different places, because online, especially in those first few years, is really inconsistent. Okay, so you need to have other income streams, whether that's face-to-face shows, whether that's you know, doing some portraiture work or teaching workshops, whatever it is, right? You need to have a few strings to your bow. And even today, I'm running 3 businesses every single day. I've actually put one aside completely because of COVID, and the other one, I just don't have the time to do it. But I'm running 3 businesses. So that's how I'm making my money. It's not one business that's paying the bills. It's all 3 that are paying the bills. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that. Anybody who tells you that they have one simple way, one thing that's going to make your life better tomorrow, honestly, I think they're talking crap. And it's just not possible to sell quickly with art online. You have to build relationships. You have to get to know the people that like your work. And that takes time, because online you can't do things instantly. We're standing face to face in a room, then we can build a relationship really, really quickly, because we're face to face. We can look each other in the eye, we can see face expressions, we can, you know, see hand movements, all of those things. And that helps. But when you're doing something online and you're focusing on using email or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is that you like on social, that takes longer. But as long as you understand that, there's no problem. The challenge that I see a lot of people coming up with is they expect stuff to happen tomorrow because they've got a great website set up, it's looking amazing, they're starting to get followers on Facebook, then they want money to come in. It just doesn't work like that. Time, patience, and persistence are the most critical factors in building your business online. And patience and persistence in particular are the 2 things that I've had to learn really hard. I'm impatient. I'm so impatient, it's not funny. But I've had to learn that to do this well and to do this successfully, you have to take your time and you have to build relationships, and there's no substitute for time, patience, and persistence when it comes to that. Okay. And persistence is the hardest one I often find is, okay, we're prepared to give it a year. We're prepared to be patient, but the persistence is doing it every single day, even though when you look at the numbers, it doesn't seem like you're succeeding. Okay. And that's the hard bit. And I totally get it, because I've been there, been frustrated with it. I've come to the edge plenty of times, and every time I've gone, no, I believe in myself, I believe in my work, and I've just got to wait for it to happen. Okay. Be persistent and don't give up. Okay. So let's keep going. Don't get distracted. Now, there are a million different things that you could be doing today. And honestly, I think this is where a lot of people really struggle, is there's so many things to do, they try and do everything. Now, we're going to talk about this in a moment, but there's 2 things I absolutely think you must do. If you do those 2 things, and then you've got a bit of time up your sleeve and you want to spend it on marketing, then find one more thing and test it. Don't try and do everything. And I think that's the big issue. Everybody goes, I have to do everything or I do nothing. It doesn't work like that. Do the things that are essential. And then if you want to try something new, try one thing new. Don't try 10 things that are new. And I think that's where everybody gets stuck. They go, okay, we have to do these 10 things. You don't. Okay. And don't listen to anybody that tells you have to do everything. You can't do everything. Even if I spent my entire time just focused on marketing my business, not creating, not doing anything else, I still wouldn't be able to do everything that I see people telling me I should be doing, right? It's just not possible. So don't try, right? Just if you can't do it, don't. So we're going to walk through this. So what are the essentials? Now, these are the 2 tasks that I believe you must do every single day, every single week, no matter what. If you don't do these 2 tasks every single day, every single week, don't come back in 6 months' time and say it's not working, because the reason it's not working is because you haven't been consistent, you haven't been persistent, and you haven't been patient and waiting for stuff to happen. You have to do these 2 things every single day, every single week. Now, it doesn't mean you need to sit down and do it every day, and that we'll get to that. But you need to be consistent and you need to be public every single day, every single week. So let's talk about that. So every single day, once a day, you don't need to do 5 times a day. You don't need to do 2, 3, 5, whatever. Once a day, you need to post on Facebook. Now, you can do Instagram, you can do TikTok, you can do LinkedIn. I don't care what else you do, but I am telling you, if you want to build an online business for your art, for your photography, you must post daily on Facebook. End of story. You can do all the other stuff if you've got time, but you must do Facebook. Okay? That is where the customers are. That is where the people that are buying stuff are. There's plenty of people on Instagram that'll follow you. You'll go nuts trying to build your Instagram audience, right? But most artists, 99% of artists that are working and selling online aren't selling anything on Instagram. Okay, so don't say that you have to do it. I'm not saying you don't do Instagram. I'm just saying don't prioritize it. You have to prioritize Facebook. Right now, Facebook's still the best place to sell. Okay, now the second task. So you're going to post on Facebook every single day. Second task, and this is even more important, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not negotiable. You have to send a weekly, and if it's not weekly, every second week, you have to send an email to your audience. Now, if you're not doing that email, then you're wasting your time. End of story. Because that email is the thing that's going to generate your income. That email is the thing that's going to help you build relationships with your audience. They're going to get to know you over time through your emails. And if you're not sending those emails, you're too busy to send the emails, then you're wasting your time, full stop. Give up, walk away, because it's the most important thing you can possibly do. Okay? Nothing else is more important than that weekly email. I'm happy to have that argument with anybody. Honestly, I can't see any other activity that you could possibly do that's more important than that email, apart from creating. And of course, you have to create. But the next thing you need to do when it comes to marketing is send that email. Okay. Let's keep moving. Right. How much time? Every week. Now, honestly, I believe you can schedule your week's worth of Facebook posts. You can write your email and schedule that. And if you have a free version of the email, like if you're using MailChimp free, for instance, even if you don't want to schedule it, because you can't, I've heard mixed reports about this, but on a free account, generally you can't schedule an email, but you can write the email during the week and then send an alarm in your phone to press send at the time that you prefer to send it out. Okay. But you can do all of that work in 2 to 3 hours. And if you batch all your posts for the week in one go, or even 2 weeks worth of posts in 1 week, in one go, you'll do it in an hour or 2. Okay. If you try and do a post every day, it takes significantly longer than if you schedule your posts. Okay. So take that time, schedule your Facebook posts and write that email every week. 2 to 3 hours should cover everything. Okay. And then your focus then is on relationships. Okay. So what matters? What really matters? Now, I don't know how many times I've said this word, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's the only thing that makes a difference. When it comes to marketing as an artist, the only thing that matters for you is relationships, right? It's not about numbers. It's not about fans or followers. It's about the relationships that you build with those people. Okay, so it's not the numbers. It doesn't matter if you've got 1 million people who follow you on Instagram. If none of them engage with you, none of them start conversations with you, then it doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's the conversations that you have and the relationships that you build with your audience that really matter. So you can have a really small following, but as long as they're hardcore followers and they engage and they buy, then that's all that matters. If you have a huge following and nobody engages, nobody buys, then that doesn't matter either. But again, it's a factor of time. Have you put in the time? Have you put in the effort over a consistent period of time? Okay. So relationships is the key, and the relationships is the focus for your efforts. If you focus on relationships, then everything else comes together. Okay. Let's keep moving. Keep it simple. When it comes to the communications you have with your audience, 90%, even 95% of the communications you have shouldn't be trying to sell. People need to know you, they need to like you, they need to trust you before you buy. So if you've sent them a million different special offers, you spent them discounts and everything else, but you never sat down with them and said, hey, my name's John, I'm a landscape photographer, and this is why I got into it, and told your story, then you, again, all you're doing is focusing on the wrong thing. The relationships is the key. If you put relationships at the center of every communication you have with your audience, then you'll succeed. If you think about trying to sell always, then you won't. And this is a really interesting point that I learned the hard way. You can sell more when you stop trying to sell. So I used to send out emails every week, and every week I'd have a special offer. This print's on sale this week for 20% off. This print's on sale next week, whatever. And I used to focus purely on sales language. And I learned that it wasn't working. So I stopped. And instead of doing that, I focused on just trying to get to know the people and for them to try and get to know me and my work. I told them the stories about my pieces. If it was raw and it was something emotional, I told them why, right? If it was something interesting, or I had a mix up, or I, stuffed up and slept in, all of those things, that's all part of the story. So I make sure that part of the communication I have with my audience, because they need to get to know me, and them getting to know me is so important to your success. Okay. So don't think that you need to be sell. Stop trying to sell. Don't try and sell. Just try and build relationships. When you build relationships, you will sell significantly more than when you just try and sell. Okay. And this is a real key part to this conversation. Now I'm just going to interrupt for a sec, because I've got a couple of questions that I've had coming off on the side. Is Facebook necessary? London, in my mind, absolutely. 99% of artists do not do nearly as well on Facebook, on Instagram, as they do on Facebook. And if you're already selling on Instagram, then I guarantee you'll sell more on Facebook. You need to just build a bridge, find a way that it works for you, and move on. Because honestly, if you're fighting that, it's not helping you. It's just making life harder for you. Selling on Facebook, it's not even about selling on Facebook. It's about building your relationships and starting the conversation with your buyers. The place that you sell is in your emails, building those relationships. And you can get a much better quality and a much higher quality audience on Facebook to Instagram. If you look at your Instagram audience, I guarantee you 99% of them are fellow artists and photographers. They're not biased. Okay. Yeah, Carol, likes and hearts are not sales. Absolutely. Follows on Facebook, follows on Instagram, even likes and engagement on those platforms, they're not sales. Then don't pay your bills. I'm much happier to have someone's email address than I am to have someone following me on Facebook or Instagram. Okay. Randy says that you can absolutely schedule the free accounts. That's great. Okay. I haven't been done it for a while. London, that's a conversation we can have, mate. We've managed to get everybody around that. So shoot me an email. We'll have a conversation about it. Okay. So, anyhow, as far as the scheduling, I'm going to leave that alone, Hammer. We can have a separate conversation if we need to. So I'm going to keep moving, guys. Keep it simple, but it's not about selling. To sell art, you need to stop trying to sell. And I know it doesn't sound right, but honestly, it's the way to go forward. And it's the way that's going to make your life so much easier. Now, this is the other question. And this is the one where everybody gets stuck. And people, I don't know whether people are sold on false hope or what, but this is a long-term game. If you started today with a brand new website and 50 followers on Facebook and 50 followers on Instagram and 10 people on your email list, you're not going to sell a single thing for at least a year, if not 2 years. Okay. Now, that's just the facts. It's not me being harsh. It's not me being rude. It's not me being whatever. It's just telling you like it is. You need time. You need to build your audience and you need to build your relationships. If you're starting from zero, and as far as I'm concerned, 50, even 100 people anywhere, that's zero. It might as well be zero because it's just not a volume. Like when it comes down to the numbers, if you look at your list and say you've got 100 on your list, you probably got 3 or 4 potential buyers on that list and maybe 1 collector. But if you've got 10,000 on your list, you've got 300 or 400 buyers. You've got, maybe 100 collectors, right? That's the difference. So scale takes time and you need to build relationships in the meantime. So if you set out and say, okay, over the next 3 years, I'm going to build my online art business. The first 2 to 3 years is going to be all about investing. I'm going to invest my time and I'm going to invest my money in building my business. And I'm not expecting to make it much money at all. And I'm not going to make any profit in those first 3 years. If you set out with that, then you will succeed. If you think you're going to make money tomorrow because you've got a brand new shiny website, it looks really cool, then the answer is no, and you won't succeed. Okay. Now that sounds really tough and you may sell along the way. I guarantee you'll get the odd sale. There's no question about that. But those sales won't come consistently and they won't be at a volume that you're actually making any money because you've invested so much money in your business and you invested time in your business. So in the short term, you're not going to make any money, right? But over 3 years, you're going to build a business that's going to be a real business. Okay. And that's the key. So if you set a 3-year timeline, then you're going to be okay. If you set a 6-month timeline or 3-month timeline, then you're not wasting. You're not going to win. Okay. So let's keep moving. This is key. Time. Okay. Now don't get distracted. Now we've talked about shiny new things earlier, but I really think that this is key. The most important thing that you do every week is make sure your Facebook posts and your emails are done, right? If you've got time for more, then do one more thing, right? And try that thing for a month or 2. And if it works, keep it up. If it doesn't work, drop it and move on, okay? But your consistent effort every single week, every single month is the thing that makes the difference. It's not a single action. It's not some shiny new tool. It's not a great brand new website. The thing that makes the difference is your consistent and cumulative effort over a year, over 2 years, over 3 years, okay? So don't get distracted. If you haven't done your Facebook posts and your weekly email yet, then you don't have time to try something new, right? Don't get distracted until you've done those key things. And those key things are the thing that are going to build your business, okay? So do them first. And then if you've got time, do something else. That's cool. But don't do 10 things else. One more thing. If you've got more time, spend more time creating. Okay, now this is another one that I think a lot of artists, they get really excited and they get distracted and they think that there's a shortcut. Okay, so engage with your followers. If someone comments on a post, react to the post. Now, when I mean react, I don't mean pressing like. Okay, I want you to hover over it and press the love or the wow or something else. Okay, don't just click like and move on, right? And the other thing is, the really important thing is, if someone's taken the time to reply and comment on a picture of yours or reply to you in an email, take the time and reply back. This is the start of a conversation. This is your opportunity to start building a closer relationship. So don't just reply with some canned response to every single image, every single comment, right? Take the time and say, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate that. What do you love about the image, or whatever? But ask a question, but thank them and be personal, because at the end of the day, this is your opportunity to move the relationship one step further. Okay. So every single reply to an email or to a comment on Facebook or a DM, reply to it and engage with it, right? But at the same time, I think this is really important. I've seen people do this and I think it's maddening. Don't stalk your followers. If someone follows you, don't 10 seconds later send them an email saying, thanks for following me. Would you sign up for my email list, right? If someone sends me that, I go back and unfollow and block them, right? And I guarantee you I'm not the only person doing it. It's creepy. Don't do it, right? If someone follows you, that's cool. That's all you need to do. Don't be creepy about it, because people want to build a relationship with you. And if you think about it face to face, right, you wouldn't do that face to face. You wouldn't say to someone, oh, thanks for following me. Would you sign up for my email list right now? You don't do it that way. You have a conversation. So start a conversation. Don't get creepy about it. Okay. Reply personally to everything. The more that you take your time to engage with the people that have engaged with you, the more successful you will be. This is where you need to be investing your time. Instead of finding something really cool to try next, just engage with your people. This is the thing that pays your bills, okay? I'm just going to jump over. There was a couple of questions. Catherine, I agree with Tom. I sort of agree with Tom. I actually don't even get to 500 words, 1 or 2 images, a couple of paragraphs, right? Tell a story without getting too deep. Keep it simple, because people don't read long emails generally. You think about the emails, how many emails you get in your inbox in the morning, right? How many of them do you actually read? So make it something sharp, something interesting, and a reason for them to read it. And then, maybe click through to something or whatever. But at the very least, you want to find a way for them to have a conversation with you. Okay. So keep it simple. I honestly think a couple of paragraphs is enough. Okay. So yeah, Cheryl, this is an interesting one. And I hear a lot of artists going, I don't want to upset my people by sending them an email every week. Okay. The people that love you, the people that love your art, they want 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week, right? They don't care, right? A good balance is 1 a week, right? You're going to upset some people, but if you're upsetting people early, that's okay, because then they move on and they're not wasting time on your email list. The people that really love your work and the people that want to know more, as long as you're being engaging, you're telling them stories and you're sharing the process and taking them along on the journey, they're really happy to get an email once a week. Okay. I rarely get an issue from people saying that 1 a week's a problem. And those people, if they don't like it one a week, they can unsubscribe. Okay. Or they might open every second or third one. It doesn't matter. You've just got to keep engaging with them, because you're not a company, right? Forget being a company. And this is another thing I think a lot of artists get stuck on is, as an artist, we think we need to look really professional, and we need to look like we've got a marketing team of 5 or 6 people behind us. I've found those emails where I've told a story and have been really real and not tried to make the email look like a marketing email. Just like I was sending an email to a friend, I get the best possible results, right? The end of the day, people don't expect you to look like a big marketing team. They expect you to just be an artist that's doing their thing and sharing their story. So don't try and write an email like you're a company. Write your email like you're an artist sharing a story with a friend. That's how you should write your email. And if you write your emails like that, if more people are going to open them, more people are going to engage with them. Okay. That's an interesting one, Hema. So Hema's asked the question, if people praise you profusely, yeah, it can get a bit repetitive, and you do get those 2 or 3 people who are fanatical and will reply to every single thing that you put up. Just deal with it. I know it feels difficult, and you know, sometimes they might be, you know, they might be fanatical. At the end of the day, what they're doing is engaging, right? When they're engaging, that's helping you on Facebook or Instagram get your post to more people. So those fanatics are helping you. So yes, they might take a bit of time to reply to every single day, but they're helping you in the bigger picture as well. So don't worry about it. Just deal with it and keep moving. Okay. Yeah, Caesar, I think that you've got a really interesting story, mate. And I think part of that conversation is telling that story. And you know, I know that's a bit personal, but I think, you know, I've seen you do this in the past. Help tell your story, and that will help people engage with you. The more you can be consistent in your posting, the more it's going to help. Okay. Now, okay, so I'm going to keep moving. Let's keep going. There's no more questions there. So I've said this a million times. Relationships sell art. Okay. It's not tips, tricks, hacks. The only thing that matters is the relationships that you build with your people. There's no shortcut. It takes time. You need to get to know the people. They need to get to know you. When you're selling art, you're not just selling a product. You're selling a bit of yourself as well. So people need to get to know both you and your art. Okay. It doesn't work if they just know the art or they just know you. They need to know you and the art. So you need to tell your stories. Okay. You need to engage people in you and the story behind your work. And whether that's a photograph, that's a painting, if it's something that's special to you, share it. Okay. And take the moment to explain a little bit more about the piece. Every time you share a little bit more, it's a step. And you know, I said this back before, it's the consistent cumulative effort that makes the results. Okay, so that post today builds onto the post tomorrow and the post after that and that. And over time, people are going to get to know you and your work. And then they're going to be at the point where they trust you and the point where they buy from you. Okay, it's really, really hard. So, yeah, Carol, you're right. Like when you've got a committed group of fans for you and your art, you're a celebrity in their mind. Okay. And just, you got to remember this, because it's something that we often forget as artists, whether a photographer or a painter, it doesn't matter what you are, you were an artist as far as I'm concerned, right? What we're doing for a living is what a lot of people would love to do. They'd love to quit their day job and go and create full time. Okay. They don't understand how hard it is and that, you know, it's not that simple. But the key is that what you're doing is something really special and they're interested because that's something that's really cool. And in their heart, maybe that there was something that they wish they were able to do. Okay. So they want to know more. And the more you share behind the scenes, the more you share the stories of your work and how you create even, all helps. So that is a key. Right, so let's keep going. I'm going to come back to that question, Jeannie, a little bit later, but yes, I can help you out with that. Right, so Relationships sell art. Nothing else is more important than the relationships. This is my summary. And if you can't do these things every week, then don't worry about doing online sales, right? You have to post daily on social. I honestly believe it doesn't matter what platform you want to work on, that's cool, but focus on Facebook, because Facebook is where the people that buy art are. Right? There might be more artists on Instagram. There might be more people following you on Instagram, but the people actually buying and spending money are on Facebook. So focus your efforts on Facebook. Don't give the others up, but to focus on Facebook. Okay. Send a weekly email. And if you can't do it every week, you must do it every second week. Right? If you send it once a month, the gap is too much. People won't buy. Okay. Consistent effort every single week, every single month adds up, and that's where you're going to get your results. Okay. Your email is your most important marketing activity every week. It's nothing else is more important when it comes to marketing your art than the email that you send out. Don't get distracted. Take the time to schedule your posts. Use Facebook Creator Studio. You can schedule both Facebook and Instagram posts within that up to 30 days in advance. You don't need to pay for anything. You can do that. That's free within Facebook. Okay. Take the time, schedule your post. Take the time, write your email and schedule your email. It's really, really important. You don't need to be sitting down every single day and writing this, because you can do it once a week in a couple of hours. And then you can spend your daily effort on engaging with those people that engage with you. Okay. London, you can use Later. I don't use Later because Creator Studio is free. Later, to use it at the level I want, I have to pay for it, whereas Creator Studio is free. Okay. You do need to worry about how an email looks on a mobile phone, Catherine. Have a look. Okay. Test it. See what it looks like. Make the images smaller if you need to. Make your logo smaller. I think that's a big mistake. And that's something when it comes to lead generation, we're really keen with the landing pages to make sure the landing page looks really good on a mobile. So we make sure that the logo, well, we don't include a logo on a landing page deliberately, because it's just waste space. And we try and make sure the text is small enough and the image is small enough that you can see the fields on a phone. Okay. And that's important. And the same applies with an email. Make the important things big. The image and the story is the important part. The logo, it's nice that you've got a logo, but nobody cares, right? What people care about is the image and the story. So make that appropriately sized. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's a good tip, Susan, for Catherine. Yeah, keep the paragraphs short. You know, I even make my paragraphs, you know, 1 or 2 sentences, not very long. You know, a good guide for writing an email is write it like you would write a newspaper. Okay, so short, sharp sentences that have a point. Keep them engaging. Don't ramble on. You know, and take out all the unnecessary words. At the end of the day, you just want to tell a story. Keep it simple, right? And at the end of the day, there's no one size fits all with this. Try what works with your audience. If something gets more opens, then do more of it. If something gets less opens, do less of it. You have to experiment with your audience. You have to engage with your audience to see what your audience likes. What my audience likes and what Tom's audience likes, completely different possibly. So they need to be engaged with in different ways. So only you know what works for you. Do what you feel really comfortable with and share that. Okay. That's key. Yeah, so I'm going to come to that, Joe. So what do you do if you've got a small or no audience? Okay. Now, this is the hardest place to be. In some ways it's easy, but it's also frustrating. Okay. Now there are 3 methods out there. There are ways to build your audience. And in particular, the thing, I don't like building audiences. All right. At the end of the day, it's nice to have followers on Facebook. It's nice to have followers on Instagram. That's cool. And it's helpful. But to me, I don't ever focus my effort on those activities for two reasons. One, Facebook followers and Instagram followers or TikTok followers, doesn't matter what it is, they don't pay the bills, right? Unless you're at the point where you've got a monetized account, right? Which is an artist, you don't want to necessarily do that because then you're monetizing for other people, not monetizing for yourself, right? So followers don't pay your bills. What helps you pay your bills is the size of your email list. And I know as I grow my email list, I grow my income, full stop. So what I would be doing as a new artist starting today, or someone that's tried everything in the last 12 months, is focus on building your email list. Okay. Now, there are free methods out there, right? Giveaways work. End of story. If you use giveaways, they will work. The challenge you have is bringing traffic to the giveaway. Okay. Now, if you've tried and you've failed, or you just don't know, then you need to get some help. Okay. You can try everything in the world, but at the end of the day, the thing that makes a difference to your bottom line over time more than anything else is building the size of your email list. Okay. So try the things. There's plenty of tools out there. And if you're working with art storefronts, they have methodology that helps you build your email list. There's no question that stuff works, especially if you've got plenty of time to invest in it. Okay. But if you don't have time, or you've not had success with the free opportunities, then you need to consider getting some help. Okay. Because the only thing that's going to grow your business over long term is growing the size of your traffic, growing the size of your email list. And that's what's going to matter. The size of your Facebook following doesn't matter, right? And I'll be really specific about this. Someone's already mentioned it in the thing. Facebook can block you, and that includes Instagram, TikTok, all of those places. They can block you at any time for no reason. Okay. And a lot of the times there's a way back, but a lot of the times the only way back is to start again. So if you've invested all your money, instead of investing your money in building your email list, you've invested your money in getting your following to 2,000 people on Facebook, and then Facebook blocks your page tomorrow, the only option for you is to start again. Now, if you had invested your money in ads that generated leads that you now have in your email list, whether it's on art storefronts or MailChimp, wherever it is that you work, right? If you've invested your money in an email list, even if you leave that platform tomorrow, you take your email list with you. You own that email list forever. If you get blocked on that platform, you still own the email list. You can take the email list away. If you lose your Facebook page, there is no going back from that. You don't get to get those people back. You have to start again. So you invest in your email list, the email list you own. If you decide you don't like MailChimp and you want to go to another platform, you export it, take it with you. If you decide you don't like art storefronts, you export your data, you take it with you. Okay. You own that list. So it's an investment and it's something that's an asset for you and your business. So if you're going to spend money on marketing, spend your money on building your email list. I can't tell you a better way to invest your money in the short term. Okay. And today, like I run two businesses online for selling art. One of those businesses is just over 2 years old. It's 2.5 years old now. That's a 6-figure business already. And we have grown the email list to around 15,000. We continue to spend money every single day to grow that email list, because as we grow that email list, we grow our income, right? It's a long, hard road in the short term, especially if you're starting from zero, but you can grow your email list and grow your business. And that's the most effective way. If there was a better way, I'd tell you, okay? But I don't know a better one, okay? So let's go back to questions. Yeah, London Facebook Creator Studio is like, it's really easy to use and allows you to schedule Facebook and Instagram up to 30 days in advance. So easy. It's not funny. Joe, mate, I'm happy to have a conversation with you after the fact if you want to, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. I don't know where that comment's coming from, Susan. But anyhow. Right. Okay. So pointers to grow your email list. Like London, honestly, the two things the easiest way to grow your email list is to give something away. Okay. It's a tried and true method. It's not just an art thing. It's the way to grow your email list. So I'm going to talk about how we do it for our clients. Okay. So let me just see if I got another slide. No, that's it. So we're coming on to it. So we have a 90-day program. Now, in that 90-day program, we do 3 things for you. And those 3 things are really, really important. So step 1 is we make sure that all of your marketing systems are up to date and are working together, not hindering you. So we make sure that your website and your Facebook and your email list are all talking to each other and making life easier, not harder. Right? That's step 1. Included in that is we set up things like Facebook audiences and things like that. Step 2 is we launch your first giveaway. So we do a monthly giveaway. Right now we're in September, so we would do a giveaway for the rest of September. And that helps us get to know your audience and helps us then focus on growing in the future. Step 3, which is a really, really important part of the process, is I don't want you to have to pay me forever. Right? We do a 90-day program for a reason. So step 1, step 2, we do. Step 3 is we then train you how to do it yourself. We give you the tools, we give you the resources. Myself and my assistant help you learn how to set up your landing page in the way that we recommend, how to set up a Facebook post in the way we recommend, and importantly, how to set up the ads in the way that we recommend, so that you can continue to grow your email list on an ongoing basis. Now, I told you that email list, 15,000 people. We spend a few $100, $500, $600 a month, every month on growing that email list because we know that works for us, right? We don't recommend you start with that. We recommend you spend $150, $300 a month on growing your email list. But over time, you will get some momentum, and that's what we try and help you do. But importantly, if you've got this system working for you, then instead of you having to focus on where to find the new people, you can focus all of your efforts on the relationships, because this happens quietly in the background. And that's the really key part of it. So the 90-day program is $799 US. If you're on Art Storefronts, it's $1,000 if you're not on Art Storefronts. But in addition to the program, we're offering, this has been really popular, so we're offering it again. If you book an artist suitability call this week, right, which is a conversation, it costs you nothing if you decide not to do it, right? But if you book a call this week and you sign up for a 90-day program, we give you a 1-hour one-on-one, you and me, talking specifically about your marketing, your issues that you're facing, and me helping you get forward with that. So it's a really important thing. That's normally $199. You get that for free if you sign up for an artist suitability call. I'm going to share the links. Yes, it's $799 US, London. I'm going to share the links in this. I'm happy to answer any other questions. We've got 12 minutes left on our scheduled time. So I'm happy to have that conversation, answer any questions. David's asked the question, the difference between a Facebook post and a Facebook story and an ad to story. Honestly, I don't focus on stories only because stories are ephemeral. They disappear, whereas a Facebook post stays forever. So that's the thing that I focus on. Marty, how do you grow your email list? London, you should worry about the Canadian dollar, mate. I'm in Aussie dollars. It's very similar. I understand exactly what you're saying. So it's a 90-day program, Marty. So 3 months for the $799. If you need more after that, then we do have some options. But our idea is that at the end of 90 days, you can run it on your own. Topics that you use to engage with your audience. That's a good question, Catherine. So firstly, sharing process. Now, as a photographer, it's a little bit harder, but I tend to tell them about, where I'm going, what happened, things that went right, things that went wrong. If something goes wrong, be honest. Because you're trying to get not just the artist side of you, but the real human side of you comes through. And I think that's really important. The more human that you are to your audience, the better the results are. So, telling the stories, putting them in perspective. The other thing that we do, and this is something we do a lot for Natalie, is and like I'll tell you, honestly, I run Natalie's business. Now, Natalie, as an artist, she paints full time. She's really lucky because I am essentially her marketing guy and I run the business on her behalf, and she doesn't have to interact with the sales or the marketing at all. And before you ask, I don't do it for anybody else, and I won't do it for anybody else because the only reason I do it for Natalie is we have a really good relationship. We see each other twice a week. We talk almost every day, and we're building a business together. And my goal for this business is, I honestly think in a couple of years' time, we will have a $500,000 a year business just selling Natalie's work. So if you're interested, someone asked earlier about signing up for an email list. This is the email list to sign up to, Natalie's email list. Okay. Natalie's email list is the one that we're really consistent with the emails. We get some really good stuff. And what Natalie shares with me and that we share with her audience is a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, because that really helps people demystify the story. So that's really important for people getting to understand how Natalie creates and how it works. So yeah, sign up for Natalie's email list if you're interested in seeing what we do on a weekly basis. We're really, really good with her marketing because it's now a 6-figure business. It's really awesome. Yeah, not quite London. It's not quite that bad, and depends on where you are in the country. But yeah, we're still under restrictions, but that's easing slowly as the vaccination numbers go up. Anyhow, no other questions. I can't see any more questions. There's nothing more on Facebook. Yeah. Hammer, I think it is for you. I think that is possible because under normal circumstances, I wouldn't suggest anybody else write their email for the artist, but you're his partner, you know him better than anybody else. And I think the key for you is to make sure that people understand that that's part of the story. Okay. So let me just share something. Question, where is it? Here. So this is a standard email that art storefronts recommend that you send out. Let me drag that over here. Okay. So this is the email that goes out 30 minutes after someone signs up for your email list. Okay. And we've personalized it and we've added a bit of the story. So, hey, Vicky, John here. I manage Nat's online gallery and just wanted to send you a note of thanks for joining Nat's email list. We absolutely love learning about her followers. Do you mind me asking what it is about Nat's art that brings you enjoyment and makes you feel a connection to it? Thank you so much for your feedback. We think you will really enjoy the occasional emails we send that dig into the stories and processes behind Nat's work. If you ever have any questions, I'm happy to help with anything. You can contact me right here. So we've dealt with that fact straight away that I'm running Natalie's business on her behalf, right? People are clear that it's not Natalie that they're getting their emails from. They're getting their emails from me because I run the business on her behalf. And I think as long as you're open and honest about that sort of stuff, Hammer, and anybody else who wants someone to help them with this stuff, you just need to tell a story. And if you tell the story, then you can do it. Okay. You've got to do what works for you. Okay. So that's where we're at. I'm going to share these links in a moment. So Marty, yep, I will send you the link in a moment. Everybody who's interested, here is the link. Anybody has any further questions, you should have an email from me So just drop me back a reply, but I'm going to give you the details here. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I really appreciate the time that you spend with me every fortnight. I love sharing what I can with you and helping you build on your knowledge, and also helping you just sometimes just get a grip on what's going on in your life, and that you're not alone. The frustrations that you have every week, every day, I've been there, I've dealt with it, and where I can help you, I'm happy to help. So I really do enjoy these sessions myself. Steve, in answer to your question, we had a running start. So 6 figures, we did our first 100 grand in, I think it was 14 months. Okay. This year, our target is 200 grand. So the calendar year, the target's 200 grand. That's a lot of money. There's no question about that. Okay. But I don't think we'll get there, but I'd rather shoot for the moon and miss than aim low and hit it. So, I'm still shooting for 200 grand this calendar year. And we just had, which is a really exciting point for us, August was our best month ever. So beat November last year, which is not traditionally the busiest month. But what's really, really important to me that's better than we beat last month, beat November, is August year on year and July year on year. July this year compared to July last year, 4 times last year. August this year compared to August last year, 4 times. That's the exciting stuff. So we're 4 times the size of the business in the last 12 months, which is really, really cool. So I'm excited for the final quarter of the year, and I really can't wait. So happy to chat to anybody. Remember that call, if you just want to have the call and you're not sure, the call is free. So you don't commit to anything at the call unless you want to. The call is free. So we'll talk for 20 minutes or so, have a chat about you and your business, where you're at. And if I can help you, I'll help you. If I don't think I can help you, I won't do it. Okay. You have a great day, guys. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.